Brought to you by Universal Studios, directed by Elizabeth Banks, we have Hollywood's attempt at trying to be creative. And although I don't think this movie is an absolute perfect 10 out of 10 or anything, I do think it's definitely the most entertaining film of 2023 so far. I love the actual bear itself. Hubert, the name that I've given her. The movie feels like those old Hollywood B movies back in the day. We start the film in the air. No, actually in the air. When a cracked out drug dealer is seen throwing bags of cocaine out of the plane and into the Chattahoochee National Forest in Georgia. Unfortunately, the guy hits his head on top of the plane door and is knocked out, falling to his death. Next, we are introduced to a forgettable subplot, a couple who plan on getting married. These are your standard foreign tourists. They hike to a spot in the forest where there is a really pretty view of the area. Then they spot a black bear acting a little strange. Then the bear spots the couple, and it's funny because the couple even go through the if it's black, fight back, if it's brown, hit the ground, whatever that nonsense is. Which is hilarious because what's the saying if it's black but also on cocaine? If it's black but in white, good night? And as they discuss how they should handle this situation, the bear has seemingly disappeared. But then the movie does a jump scare of the bear attack. The couple try to run away, but that's seemingly a fruitless effort. The man falls, and at this point, I thought he was going to get it. But the woman was screaming so loud that the bear couldn't help but want to shut her up. So he does, by mauling the out of her, ultimately killing her and tearing off her leg in the process. God, this is great. The future husband gets away, and we are officially introduced to the cocaine bear. Then we cut to another human subplot that we don't give a about. A detective ordered the wrong dog and is hoping to return it. He is also the detective that's on the hunt for the people responsible for dumping the cocaine in the forest. So he goes out to the forest to try to catch the perpetrators. Then we get another pointless subplot of the drug dealers. I can't even begin to explain this subplot to you because of how much I didn't care about how the drug dealers were feeling. I came to see the cocaine bear. Then we are introduced to another human subplot that we don't give a shit about. Carrie Russell's character and her daughter talk about how she's going to be... I don't even remember. Okay, there's a lot of human subplots, so I'm just gonna lay them all out right here. There's the Carrie Russell subplot where she works at the hospital as a nurse and she has a crush on the pediatrician there. There's the drug dealers who have someone who just died that we are meant to care about, but we just don't. Then there's the kids who steal some of the cocaine and hide it. There's the detective who has one of the other police officers watch his dog while he goes and investigates the forest. There's the ranger who has a crush on someone coming in to look at something. I don't even remember what that something is. At one point in the movie, the daughter of Carrie Russell and another kid find a brick of cocaine and eat some of it, which was pretty funny. Of course, not all of the jokes landed, but most of them did. Do you remember that ambulance scene that was in the trailer? Well, that's the best part of the entire movie. An ambulance is called by the park ranger, and when it gets there, they are attacked by the bear. The bear goes on a complete rampage and starts chasing down the ambulance that's now trying to get away. The bear finally reaches them and jumps inside the ambulance, which leads to the brutal and gory deaths of everyone inside. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Violence in movies is fun.
You need to leave!
Yeah, I said it. And I'll say it again. Violence in movies is fun. Anyway, the bear continues to go on a tirade and keeps searching for more coke to eat. Pretty soon, everyone meets in a cave, besides a detective. We also get another subplot of the police officer who was taking care of the detective's dog, who was actually in cahoots with the drug lords. The two men who were sent out there to retrieve the cocaine are accompanied by Ray Liotta's character Dentwood, who is the actual drug lord, who killed the detective earlier in the film. They're all in the cave, and then they meet Carrie Russell and the kids at the end of the cave that leads outside to a waterfall. So I guess it's not really a cave, but a tunnel. Hanging on a log is a bag of coke. Dentwood orders the two men to grab it and retrieve it for him. The men, known as Howard and Eddie, I probably should have stated that earlier, Eddie being the son of Dentwood, try to retrieve the bag but are unsuccessful. Then the bear comes back at the top of the waterfall and slowly makes her way down. The mom and the kids decide that it's time to jump from the ledge and down into the river below, which was probably the smartest decision of the entire movie. Soon, Howard and Eddie follow, leaving Dentwood on his own because he still wants to retrieve the bag of coke instead of just leaving it, which results in him getting one of the worst deaths imaginable. Having two cubs eat your intestines while you're still alive. Just has to suck. Overall, I think that this movie wasn't complete shit. I had a good time with this movie, but the human subplots that we don't care about really hold this film back from being one of the best films of 2023. When they actually do show the bear and focus on it, that's when the movie really shines. I think this movie could have been a lot better if it had focused on the bear versus the drug lords. I did think a lot of the jokes were funny. I love that this movie really leaned into the gore and violence. This movie is chaotic fun, but flawed. Again, the human subplots were annoying as f***, but if you have nothing better to do and want to see this movie in theaters, I definitely recommend it, but if not, then surely you can wait for it to come out on Netflix or Amazon or wherever this movie is going to fall. All right, everybody, that's all I have for you today. Peace!